Thank you for joining the Allegro Band and the Medicine Hat Concert Band Society, as well as their conductor, Bill Wahl, in this tribute concert. At this time of year, we pause to remember those who are no longer with us. But it is also a time to reflect on those still here, those who help us day to day in times of sorrow, stress, or ill health. We derive comfort and solace from these people and from our thoughts and remembrances. Applause and silence are expressions of our gratitude. Emotion is often expressed through art, prose, poetry, dance, and music. Our concert today is a tribute to those who have served and continue to serve, defining some of those emotions that help to exemplify what it means to be Canadian. Please allow me to introduce His Worship, Mayor Ted Clugston.
Wow, welcome. What an honor it is for me to be here today. Mr. Wahl, you sure can draw a crowd. Wow. I've been told that Mr. Wahl's put together quite the arrangement for us today. He's been working on this for quite some time to assemble the perfect pieces to celebrate both our armed forces, those that have served and those that are serving, and those that help keep our world peaceful and free, the freedoms that we enjoy today. I think it's even more important now that we remember. We're watching the democratic process unfold, and it used to be people talked about policies and values and vision, and now it's just become the latest scintillating story. And I think that's why it's even more important that we remember, what the democratic process and freedom and what it's all about. And so today I just thought I'd do Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amidst the guns below, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye lose faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Thank you.
In our audience today, we have special guests and many individuals who are currently serving in the military, the armed forces, or who have formerly served in the military and armed forces. Would they all please stand so that we can recognize them? Now, please welcome the Allegro Band and band conductor Bill Wahl. The Maple Leaf Forever is a patriotic song composed by Alexander Muir in October 1867, the year of Confederation. It predates O Canada by 13 years. For generations, it and God Save the King were the de facto national anthems of English Canada. O Canada emerged as the official national anthem in the latter half of the 20th century. The Vanished Army, subtitled They Never Die, was written in 1919 as a final musical salute to Irish troops of the First World War and includes a very small part of It's a Long Way to Tipperary. Composer Kenneth Alford dedicated The Vanished Army to the many soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice during World War I. The song, Keep the Home Fires Burning, was published first as Till the Boys Come Home on October 8, 1914. A new edition was printed in 1915 with the name Keep the Home Fires Burning and became very popular in the United Kingdom during the war. selection from the Legion Songbook uses popular songs of the Royal Canadian Legion in an arrangement by Roy Armitage, done for the Old Strathcona Town Band of Edmonton, Alberta. Their conductor was Ernest Dahlwood. Recordings of the Strathcona Band were great favorites of the late Clyde Gilmore and were featured often on his programs at CBC Radio. Both Dahlwood and Armitage were former members of the world-renowned Coldstream Guards Band of Great Britain. Letters for Home by Peter Meakin is a three-movement work. It was commissioned by the East Lancashire Concert Band of England to commemorate the start of the First World War. Before each movement, a reading in letter form will be made. A soldier writes home from training camp. Another from the trenches somewhere in France. And the last from a convalescing hospital in England.
Training camp, November 1914. My sweet Isabel. After the train ride east and the ship crossing, we are finally in training. Most of our instructors are elderly persons who have come out of retirement, as most of the experienced officers are already in France. I am presently in Tidworth with 600 other recruits living in tents. The humid winter cold here has us all chilled to the bone. Mother has always told me to wear pajamas or I'd get lumbago. It rains a lot, and icy mud often flows over the floor, sometimes to a height of 2 inches. Tent pegs don't hold, with the inevitable result that each increase in mud and rain is marked by the wholesale collapse of tents. Blankets, bedding, clothes, and men become plastered with mud, and conditions begin to have an effect on health. We are generally handicapped by a shortage of rifles and equipment, but I am fairly bitten with the military fever, and am learning all I can. I spent yesterday morning shooting on the big range. I had never shot before, so I didn't do it very brilliantly. There's quite a lot of kick, and the noise is considerable. There were only 4 of us firing at once. It was quite loud enough to make one's ears ring. What it must be like on the firing line, thousands of rounds going on. Besides shrapnel and explosive shells, it's beyond comprehension. I will ship out soon, both excited to do my part, but also rather frightened. As news from the front, little we hear, it's not good. I can't dwell on that. I miss you terribly. Say hi to friends and relatives for me, and try not to worry. I will try to write again soon, but don't hold your breath. Things are about to change in a big way. You will always be with me, my darling, no matter what happens. Danny.
February 14th, 1915. My darling and loving wife, Emily. It is Valentine's Day and my thoughts are with you as always. I wish that I could be with you on this special day of love instead of being here in this hellhole. I pray for the day that this war comes to an end. Please pass my love on to the children and kiss them for me. We arrived at the front line just over a week ago when the smell was so bad that many of the men were sick. Raw sewage from the open cesspit, body odor from men who haven't had a decent wash for weeks, dead bodies rotting in shallow graves and laying out in the open of no man's land. The smell of exploded bombs and the odor of mustard gas linger for a few days after each attack. Stagnant mud, cigarette smoke, and cooking smells all add to the unpleasantness of the trenches. Rats are everywhere. Some of them seem to be as big as Felix our cat. I have been told that I will get used to all this over time, but I fear it will haunt me for the rest of my life. I shaved my head and other body hair yesterday because I was crawling with lice. Most of us have been scratching and itching almost since the day we got here. The rain is constant, flooding the trenches and turning the floor into mud. It is so bad that some of the men are getting sores on their feet and can hardly walk. Sleep is hard to come by with the constant booming and banging of the shells from both sides. My bed is a bunk in a dugout section of the trench, a mud roof and mud floor, and the constant threat of a stray shell. We don't sleep much. I am scared, my darling Emily. My life is under constant threat. Bullets randomly fired at us, shells exploding every minute of the day. Men are dying all around me. If not from a stray bullet or a shell, it's from fever and disease. 4 of the boys in my squad have died already. They went through basic training with me and I considered them good friends. My best friend John shot himself in the foot just to get out of here and away from the trenches. He will be treated in a field hospital and maybe sent back to England. We are going over the top tonight. A and B squad went last night and most of them were killed or wounded before they even got 10 yards out of the trench. It is barbaric and a futile waste of life, but this is our hell. I will close now and pray that this is not the last letter that I will ever send to you, my darling. Your ever-loving husband, George.
but not home yet. April 18th, 1917. My dear mother, I hope you will forgive me for not writing to you before. I know you must have been worried about me. I have been here in England for a long time now. I have not been too good in health. I think my constitution is ruined. I never feel well now, perhaps the result of a constant diet of bully beef and biscuits. I think I told you before about my legs being paralyzed. I got Mary's photo and Harold's letter. My word, Mary has grown up to be a fine girl. I am quite proud of my sister. I am in a camp somewhere on the Salisbury Plains. It is very bleak here in the winter. Someday, if I get better, I suppose they will send me back. All men are wanted nowadays when we are pushing them back so well. The other day, I heard that the Australians had a go at the Prussian Guard and gave them what was the first serious defeat the Prussian Guard has ever had, I believe. I get a little better each day, I think. It's amazing that I'm still alive. We have so many heroes. I think the bravest of the lot are the stretcher bearers. Every one of them deserves a Victoria Cross, not only in my estimation, but in everyone else's. I very seldom get any letters here. The mail seems to go astray. You have asked me about the boat that I came over in. It was the Clan McGilvery. I don't have any idea when I might come home. If the paralysis doesn't go away, I suppose I will be here until the war ends. We all hope that soon. We get word from the front when injured arrive. There are so many hurt and maimed, and so many of our boys will not be going home. I am thankful that I have all my body parts. Well, I suppose I must close now. I am ashamed of myself for not writing to you before. You know I don't like writing, although I can go all right once I start. I take a lot of starting, but I will try to write more often in the future. With best of love to all at home and yourself, I remain your loving son, Trevor.
We move into World War II with a showcase of songs from that era, including Thanks for the Memory, Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree, I'll Be Seeing You, It's Been a Long, Long Time, Bell-Bottom Trousers, White Cliffs of Dover, and Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. As independent as we might think we are, there is so much that we as individuals cannot do for ourselves. This is where we depend on the skills, talents, and the goodwill of others. We may call them members of the helping professions or vocations, members of our families, or a kind neighbor or friend. Composer Sam Hazel offers Each Time You Tell Their Story, that uses a poem written by his father, Dr. Samuel J. Hazel, Poet Laureate of Pennsylvania. Although it focuses on the military, there's a greater reference to what others do for those who cannot do for themselves. No soldiers choose to die. It's what they risk by being who and where they are. It's what they dare while saving someone else, whose life means suddenly as much to them as theirs, or more. To honor them, why speak of duty or the will of governments? Think first of love each time you tell their story. It gives their sacrifice a name and takes from war its glory. When members of our families leave us because of illness, advancing years, or tragedy, we celebrate their lives and mourn our loss. Dan Forrest has composed "Good Night, Dear Heart," based on the epitaph on the gravestone of Mark Twain's daughter, Susie, who died quite young. The epitaph is the very last part of a longer poem by Robert Richardson. Although it expresses sadness, it also speaks of always being connected, as though Susie was expressing a wish that the soil above her might lay lightly, grass would grow, and birds might sit on her gravestone and sing their song. The epitaph reads, "Good night, dear heart. Warm summer sun, shine kindly here. Warm south wind, blow softly here. Lie light, lie light. Good night, dear heart. Good night. Good night." They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age will not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Evening Hymn and Sunset is one of the most played massed band selections of music performed at Remembrance Day events and tattoos. It starts with Schofields' Evening Hymn, shortly interrupted by the last post, ending with Sunset, a traditional bugle call. Thank you for coming and sharing this concert with us. Please rise for O Canada.